Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. And this is the road to 100. Right now, right here. This is the 100th episode of the Unskilled Commander. Thank you so much for joining me on this amazing journey. I hope you stick around past this and continue to watch. I'm so pleased with how the channel's done. It's not blown up, granted, but I've got over 400 subscribers as of right now. I was filming this. I thank you to all of the people that have subbed and stick around, especially those that watch all the videos and hit the like button, all that stuff. It really means a lot, especially when you comment, say you liked something or you saw something cool. And that's why we're here. We're here to get better at Magic, get better at deck building, find the flaws in all these decks, and fix them. And also, get subscribers so that I can do charity streams over on Twitch, The Unskilled Commander, raise money for Extra Life, Trevor Project, all kinds of great stuff. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button, do all that crap. And let's go ahead. This is the Gauntlet. We started on episode 95, my best 4 decks. The winner of each match stays where it is. The other 3 decks get booted and replaced with the next best decks I have. Here we are, the final stage. We've got me, the Immortal, the winner from last game, 99. Here, starting out number 100 on the Unskilled Commander, versus Optimus Prime, the Dalek Emperor, and Alayla, Artful Provocateur. Who will win it? Who will win the coveted 100th episode? Let's see. Optimus gets to go first based on the dice. We will draw for turn. Steam Vents, I'm not going to pay 2. It's going to come in tapped, and we will pass. Draw over here. Thriving More, it's going to come in tapped, and we'll choose red, of course, so that it taps for black or red. Pass turn. Draw for Alayla. We will play an island. Pass turn. Draw for me, the Immortal. Play a command tower. Take a commanding lead, but not really. We will pass. Over to turn 2. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I'm going to play a mountain for turn, tapping both of those into a Thought Vessel. But nothing of importance that I can do, so we will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play Drossforge Bridge, enters tapped, but it is indestructible. And then we will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a Swamp, tapping both. For the enchantment, Bitter Blossom. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 Black Fairy rogue creature token with flying. That's all we can do. We'll pass. That's going to be a double-edged sword because obviously we're going to be taking damage early. It means I'm going to be losing life really early. I will be making flyers, which is great, before I get Alayla out. It still can hurt. We're going to draw for turn over here on me, the Immortal. I'm going to play an island, tapping both for Arcane Signet. Nothing I can do with a 1-drop or with 1 mana, so we'll pass. Untapping onto turn 3. Draw for turn. I will play Irrigated Farmland, comes in tapped. We're going to play Camp, C-A-M-P. It's an artifact. You use it, you have to pay 3 to fortify a land, which is the same as equipping something. So the fortified land is tapped for mana. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If that creature shares a color with the mana that the land produced, create a junk token. Now we will pass. So that's kind of cool. Get Optimus Prime out, equip a land that shares a color with him, and then he gets bolstered in a matter of speaking while you're bolstering the other creatures. Over here on the Dalek Emperor, untap, upkeep, draw. Play a mountain for turn. Gonna tap 2 to play Metallic Mimic. As it enters, choose a creature type. I will choose Daleks. It is a Dalek in addition to its other types. Each other creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield with an extra +1/+1 counter on it. I will then tap 1 for a Manifold Key. Pay 1, tap it to untap another target artifact, or pay 3 and tap it to target creature can't be blocked this turn. But that's all we can do. We will pass turn. Untap, upkeep. Upkeep, we're going to take a damage, and we're going to make a 1/1 Black Fairy with flying, and then we draw for turn. I'm going to play a command tower. Now the problem with Alayla, because she's built around artifacts as opposed to the enchantments, I have enchantments in my hand, but I want to get her out first so that her ability trigger. But thankfully, with the Bitter Blossom, I do have a blocker, so I don't have to worry about that right. So we'll pass. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'm really thrilled that I got to hit my 100th episode, so thanks for watching. I hope you're having a good time out there. Hope you're just having a good day in general, and that you're enjoying my episodes. Let me know in the comments. And keep checking back. Let me know if there's things you want to see me do. If you want to see more matches against other creators, which I'm slowly doing, roughly once a month, once every other month I'm posting one of those. I do comedy skits, combo shorts, some other stuff like that. So we will untap, upkeep, draw. I will play a Game Trail and then reveal a forest from my hand, so that it comes in untapped. I will then tap 3 to play Cultivate. Looked for 2 basic lane cards. 1 goes on the battlefield tapped, the other one in your hand. I will put a mountain on the battlefield tapped and a forest into my hand and shuffle. Now, I don't really know how I feel about who I want to win. I would love to see Optimus Prime win because the last matches we've had him in on the channel, he has not done well. Just because he just doesn't synergize the way he's supposed to, and none of the cards do. It's just I have great cards in there, they just don't seem to get out fast enough to work. But at the same time, I'd love to see Me the Immortal win again and pull it off. It'd be kind of cool to have one deck win multiple times to win the 100th episode. But I don't know, one of these could totally pull off a win and be fun. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep to turn 4, and draw a card. I will go ahead and play this mountain. I will tap and play Abzan Battle Priest. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has lifelink. It's 3/2 and it has Outlast. I can pay a white and tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, Outlast only as a sorcerer. That's all I can do here though. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I'm going to play Mount Doom, but I have to pay a life when I tap it to get a black or a red. And then it has a couple other abilities as well. We're going to go ahead and tap it and ding ourselves for 1 to play War Spike Changeling. It's a 3/3 Changeling, which means it's all creature types, which means it's a Dalek, and thanks to Metallic Mimic, it comes in with a +1/+1 counter. I can pay a red, War Spike Changeling gains first strike until end of turn. So now the point is I have 4 mana and 2 Daleks out for 6, so I still need 1 more mana if I'm going to get the Dalek Emperor out, which sucks. Although it's performing decent. To have a couple Daleks out this early is not bad. That's I could attack, I suppose. I have a blocker, so we might as well. We will go ahead and swing the 2/1 at you. Just because you're open and we need to do some damage, right? Pass turn. Upkeep, we're going to take a damage and we're going to make another fairy. Draw for turn. Going to play an island. Tap all 4 to play a Layla, Artful Provocateur. A 2/3 Flying Death Touch lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+0, and whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, make a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. Now then, we have 1 2/1 flyer that we can send somewhere. You know what? Optimus is the only one that hasn't taken any damage, so boom, boom. You get 2 flyers to the head. To the dome! We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Oh, we're definitely going to play that Rogue's Passage I just top decked. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to cast Me the Immortal. A 3/3 at the beginning of combat on your turn. Pick one of the following counters to put on her: a +1/+1, First Strike, Vigilance, or Menace. Counters don't drop from Me the Immortal when she goes to different zones except for the hand and the library, and you can even play her from the graveyard. So we're going to move to combat, to the beginning of combat rather, and we're going to give her a Vigilance counter. That's all we can do. We will pass turn. Untap, upkeep on turn 5, draw for turn. I think we'll go ahead and tap 3 to play Master of Ethereum. Its power and toughness are equal to number of artifacts I control, so it is currently a 3/3, and other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. I have 2 mana left. Well, here, we're going to do this, because I'm going to try and play this right. All I needed was a blue, so then I'm going to tap this white to play Mother of Runes. Tap her to target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. It's a 1/1 human. So we got some creatures out, but we're not getting the mana necessary to cast Optimus. Though we have 5, so we can do his truck mode. Now we might have to do that next turn just to get him out. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Well, we'll play an Evolving Wilds, cracking it for a swamp. Souffle our deck, as a good souffleur does. Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to go for it. We're going to tap 2 for Deadly Dispute. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or a creature. We're going to sacrifice the Manifold Key. That could be a detriment, but we're going to draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. And you know what? It benefited us. We're going to tap 1. We are going to hurt ourselves off of that. Mount Doom. We'll sacrifice the treasure for 3 total mana to play Venomous Changeling. It's a 1/3 Changeling with Death Touch. No one is open at this point, but that's a Changeling, which means it's a Dalek, which means it gets a +1/+1 counter thanks to Metallic Mimic. We will pass. Here's where the crazy fun starts over here on the fairy side. So we're going to take a damage, make another 1/1 black fairy, draw a card for turn. Then we're going to tap 4 for a Thran Dynamo. I cast an artifact, we get a 1/1 blue fairy. I'm going to tap Thran Dynamo, so that's not Thran, I'm going to tap Thran Dynamo for my Metallic Mimic, declaring fairies. It is, in fact, a artifact, so I get a blue fairy. Now, of course, it's on cast, so the Metallic Mimic stuff wouldn't work because that's when it enters the battlefield, you choose the creature type. So, but every fairy that enters the battlefield after now will get a +1/+1 counter on it. We do have 1 floating mana, but unfortunately, there's nothing we can do with that. I don't believe I played a land, so I will play an island for turn. right? Because yes, it's turn 5, so there we go. So I actually have 2 mana, still not enough to do anything. So these all have Summoning Sickness, these do not. And I guess it would be stupid to not start swinging. I will swing 1 everybody. So nobody else has flyers, and they are getting a buff of +1/+0 from Alayla. So everybody took 2 damage, and because Alayla has lifelink, we gain 2. Alright, there we go. Alayla is shaping up pretty nicely. Could take a strong early lead. We'll pass turn. I guess early lead's a little bit much because it is turn 5 going on turn 6. But whatever. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play a forest. I'm actually going to tap this island to Enchantment Aura Aqueous form onto me the Immortal. Enchanted creature can't be blocked. Now I don't have to waste mana into Rogue's Passage and I can just use it. So I will do so. Tapping 3 for the Sonic Screwdriver. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color. Pay 1 and tap it to untap another target artifact. Pay 2 and tap it to scry, and pay 3 and tap it to make target creature unblockable. So cool, we've got 3 ways to make her unblockable. That's pretty cool. We will then tap another 3 for Ornery Tumblewag. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. When Ornery Tumblewag attacks while saddled, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. And you saddle it for 2. Sort of like vehicles and crewing, only slightly different. So we're going to move to the beginning of combat on my turn. She is going to get a +1/+1 counter thanks to Ornery Bushwag, and she's going to get, should it be First Strike or Menace? I guess First Strike. So now she has Vigilance in First Strike, and she's a 4/4. Everyone's got a ton of creatures, so she's not getting through any. Well, she has unblockable. What am I saying? And you know what? There's a crap ton of flyers out. But we don't necessarily want to make an enemy of them just right off the bat. We probably want to wait a little bit and see if we can ramp up me the Immortal a little bit higher before we start attracting the attention of all the flyers. Although that is still an unblockable commander that's going to get stronger, so it's kind of already got attention from everybody. However, the Dalek Emperor is about to come out, and that's going to be a whole thing. It's not going to hurt the token generator, but it's going to hurt us and just make the Daleks even stronger. So I think we actually do want to go ahead and swing at the Dalek Emperor for 4 commander. But that's all we can do here. We got 1 mana, nothing to do with it past turn. Untap on turn 6, draw for turn. Fortunately not a land, so we're going to have to go and I would actually like to tap 3 for fortify the steam vents. We have 2 mana left, nothing we can really do with it, but that doesn't mean we can't tap it. So we're going to tap it, and we can put a counter on any creature that shares a type, shares a color with the land, which is red and blue. Well, no, we can put a +1/+1 counter on any creature. If it shares a color with the land, we can make a junk token. And junk tokens say sacrifice that artifact, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So, sure, we'll have a little junk token down there. Alright, Optimus, once again, are failing me, Starscream, but you're not even Starscream, you're Optimus. So we're going to pass turn. Unfortunately, I definitely think it's going to be one of these 3 that's going to win. Optimus doesn't seem to be shaping up very well. So we untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Cool, it's a swamp, play it, we need it. So the Dalek Emperor has affinity for Dalek, so he costs 1 less for each Dalek. We have 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, there we go. We'll have to cast pay 4. So the Dalek Emperor comes out, and it comes out with a 1/1 counter on it, thanks to Metallic Mimic. So it's a 7/7. At the beginning of combat on my turn, some fun stuff happens. We do have 2 mana. I'm going to tap 1 for a Campfire. Pay 1 and tap it, you gain 2 life. And you can pay 2 and tap it, exile Campfire, put all commanders you own from the command zone and from your graveyard into your hand. It's a great way to get around commander attacks. I'm going to go ahead and tap Mount Dune, take a damage, tap Campfire to gain 2 life, so I actually net 1. Beginning of combat, on your turn, each opponent faces a villainous choice. That player sacrifices a creature they control, or I create a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with Menace. We're going to go, hey, do you want to sacrifice a creature? Sure, I'll sacrifice one of my taps. Do you want to sacrifice a creature? No, I can't afford to. I make a Dalek. And the Dalek Emperor also says other Daleks have haste. Go to Optimus Prime. Do you want to sacrifice a creature or give me a Dalek? And see, here's the rub, because if they sacrifice a creature so you don't make it, that means they have 1 less creature to block with. However, they have an odd number, so it's not going to help much against, well, we only have 1. Now, here's the thing. All Daleks have haste, but only these ones that get made from the villain's choice have the Menace. And of course, the Dalek Emperor does not have haste. And there really isn't any other buffs. This is a 3/3, a 2/4, or this is a 4/4, a 2/4, and a 2/1. So we're really not in a position to go swinging crazy yet. So I think Optimus Prime will probably be like, yeah, I'll sacrifice the Mother of Runes, unfortunately, so you don't get an extra one. We are in combat, we choose not to swing, and we pass turn. We untap over here, take a damage, make another fairy. Now these ones are all good to go. and we draw a card for turn. So what we're going to start with is we're going to tap 3 to play Hierophant's Chalice. Enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We'll make you lose 1 and I gain 1. And it taps for a colorless. However, it is an artifact, so we make another blue creature, so fairy. And these both come in with 1/1 counters on them because of Metallic Mimic. I almost forgot. And let's go ahead and do some dicing to try and make the board state a little cleaner. Then we're going to tap this for white and 2 others to play the enchantment background Inspiring Leader. Commander creatures you own have creature tokens you control get +2/+2. So now essentially Alayla is giving all of the tokens +3/+2, and she's giving any flyers +1/+0, separate from the tokens. We have 3 mana, nothing that we really want to cast just yet, but we definitely want to go swinging. Because as I said, we now have 4 3s, because they're getting +2/+2, they're 1/1, so it's 3, and her buff is a 4. 4 3s in the air. No one has flying. That is 16 damage in the air. The question is, who do we want to send it to? Because I say the Daleks and Me the Immortal are definitely the threats. She's going to definitely keep getting bigger, and she's unblockable. And the Daleks are going to keep making more tokens, because we can sacrifice a token no problem, but everybody else can't, so they're going to say no, and it's going to get more and more 3/3 Menace Hasties. I think we just split it again. We send 2 flyers at you, 2 flyers at you. That's 8 damage to each of you. I didn't swing a Layla, and that's fine. I don't need to right now. We are going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I'll play a Mirrored Landscape. Not super helpful right now. I will tap 2 to play Contentious Plan. Proliferate, so we will bump that up. I'm not proliferating anybody else's counters. Screw you. And then I draw a card. That's a better card. I will tap these 2, one of which being red, for Ketis Emberclaw Familiar. When a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. Now, it's not commander damage, because that's only on the combat step, but the other damage is still good enough. So we're going to go ahead and move to the beginning of my combat step. The Ornery Tumblewag is going to give her a counter, and you know what? I'm going to give her a counter too, because why does she need Menace when she's got Unblockable? So that means it's 7 damage. I'm going to send 7 damage at you. 7 commander, but everybody else is also taking 7. Very cool. Alright, that's all we can do. Going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap poor Optimus on turn 7. I just don't know what to do to fix him. Draw for turn. Well, at least it's a land. I'm going to play Urza's Tower, then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and play Optimus Prime, a 4/8 at the beginning of each end step. Bolster 1, putting a +1/+1 counter on the creature that I control that has the lowest toughness. When Optimus Prime dies, return it to the battlefield transformed into truck mode. Now, I tapped the mana, but unfortunately Optimus wasn't on the field yet. So I will just put a 1/1 counter on Abzan Battle Priest. So as I said, each creature with +1/+1 does have lifelink, so that's really good. And Master of Elitherium is 1, 2, 3, 4, technically, a 4/4. Well, 5/5 with the counter. That's all we can do right now, however, so we're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play the Dalek Drone, a flying menace 3/3. When Dalek Drone enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls. That player loses 3 life. Well, heck. I'd like to get rid of Me the Immortal, but the Metallic Mimic is making their flyers big. And Me the Immortal can take them out with commander damage, theoretically. Although, because of the Ketis, that's going to hurt everybody. So it's like, well, I could just take out Ketis, and then that would stop that and let them go after her. But I really don't like all these fairies coming in with counters on them. I don't know what's the right... I guess the right move is to blow up Ketis, and then you lose 3 life. Now, we're going to move to the beginning of our combat. We're going to do a villainous choice. Will you get rid of a creature? You betcha. I'll get rid of this. Well, wait a second. That one has a counter. We should get rid of one of the ones that doesn't have a counter. Would you like to? No, I can't afford to. So that means we get another Dalek. Do you want to sacrifice a creature? I really do not. Cool, we get another counter. So I think the smart move is to kind of move them like this, because Venomous Changeling is only a 2/4, but it has Death Touch, so that's a good blocker. Metallic Mimic we need to keep out. Oh, that's right, you got a counter. So now we have a 4/4 flyer with Menace and Haste. We've got 3 3/3s with, well, hang on. All of these would have gotten a +1/+1 counter as well. So we have 3 4/4s. We have the 7/7 Commander and a 4/4 Changeling, which really isn't all that important. Because while it does get the haste off of Dalek Emperor, because it counts, it doesn't get the Menace. So we probably just want to keep him back maybe as well. We'll see. maybe not. So we move to combat, or I always say that. That's the beginning of combat. We now declare attackers. The problem with swinging at fairies is that it's evenly matched in terms of power. We have a bunch of 4/4s, and they have a bunch of 4/3s. I think we want to leave the flying Dalek up to block anything that she sends back at us. So again, as much as that is, as cool as that was, I really don't. I'm concerned about Me the Immortal, but I think the Me the Immortal is more like they should be going at you. They should continue that. If we swung, and yeah, we do a lot of damage to Me the Immortal, and actually, how much damage would we really do? 2 would get through maybe for 8 damage. Not enough. Not worth it. I will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw a card. So upkeep trigger, we lose a life, and we make another fairy. Metallic Mimic is out, so, well, I suppose we need to do it like this because they don't have haste. So all of these creatures can attack. Anything down here cannot. And obviously we're not going to swing with the Metallic Mimic anyway. So we drew our card. We're going to drop our one and only Mox Opal because it's super expensive and I only have one. That's going to make another 1/1 blue fairy. Unfortunately, I don't have enough tokens. I mean, I could represent it, but whatever. You can tap the Mox Opal, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, but only if you have 3 or more artifacts. What kind of damage do we have online? 22 damage, and Alayla is 24. In the air, we can absolutely just take out Me the Immortal. I'm not going to lie to you folks, I think Alayla's got this one, because here's what we're going to do. We are going to move to combat and do just that. We are going to swing everything at Me the Immortal, unfortunately. They can't stop anything in the air. They don't have any kind of air brakes. So they are taking a full 24 damage. We are gaining 2 off of Alayla. And kaboosh. Darn it. That was, I did kind of want Me the Immortal to take 2 wins back to back and win the 100. Looks like Alayla, a deck I don't play all that often, is going to come out and shine. Because now what we're going to do is tap for 3, 4, 5, and 2 black. Kindred Dominance. Choose a creature type. Oh gee, I'll say fairies. Destroy all creatures that aren't the chosen type. I don't have anything that isn't a fairy. We've got 1 mana over here, nothing we can do. They have 1 open mana, no counter spells from either side. So, yep. The Dalek Emperor now costs 2 more to cast, which means he's probably not going to come back out, because without other Daleks to help make him cheaper, we don't have a shot at getting him out. It does say destroy other creatures, so when Optimus Prime dies, he just flips into his truck mode and comes back on the battlefield. So we still have a creature over here, which is kind of cool. But that's all we can do over there. No end steps. We're going to pass over to Optimus Prime for turn 8. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. And what really sucks is we only have one white mana. So that means I can only cast 1 thing. Well, we're going to tap that 1 white mana, and we're going to path to exile Alayla for all the good it'll do, because she's got more than enough mana to recast. Well, I suppose you're right. I'm doing that in the improper time, am I not? I should wait till her turn to do that. You know, learn the steps properly. Now, here's a kick in the butt. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap 4, one of which being blue, for 1 with the machine. Draw cards equal to the highest mana value among artifacts you control. Unfortunately, the truck form doesn't have a mana value, so it'll default to the Thought Vessel, which just has 2. If it was Optimus Prime in robot mode, I'd be able to draw 6 cards. Now, when this land is tapped for mana, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. If it shares a color with what it is, which it does, you make a junk. So cool, we've got 2 junks. That's super helpful. But we draw 2 cards. Still no lands. And that's kind of one of the problems with what's going on. We need our robots, and we need more lands or mana rocks. Now, Optimus Prime Autobot Leader version has a 6/8, which is now a 7/9 with trample. Whenever you attack Bolster 2, the chosen creature gains trample until end of the turn. When that creature deals combat damage to a player, this turn convert Optimus Prime. Well, yeah, we're going to go ahead and swing the Optimus at you, because what's the difference? We don't have flying. So it is a 7/9 with trample. How much mana do you have, or what do you have? So unfortunately, that's 2 10/10s, or that's 2 5/5s, which is 10, which, darn it. So unfortunately, I can't swing into Alayla because she still has 2 creatures, well, she has 3 creatures up. They're more than enough power to destroy Optimus, even though he's a 7/9. Nothing would get through, so there's no real point. Wait, yes it would, because it bolsters 2. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to go to combat. We're going to swing at Alayla. It's going to bolster 2, which means it's now a 9/11. Unfortunately, they do have 2 5/5s and a 2/2, but they have to stack block everything in order to stop Optimus and destroy it. The question is, with 33 life versus 29 and 18, do they really care? And losing that 10, because we know it's currently, this row was 24 damage. Now we're going to have another 10. They can absolutely swing and kill Optimus and send 1 or 2 over at, well, probably 1 over at the Daleks. They won't be able to get the commander back out, so that's probably, they probably would just go, sure, go ahead. So yeah, 9 commander damage, which is great, and you're down to 24. And when it does transform back into Optimus Prime, keeping the 2 counters on it for bolster, and then we move to our end step, he's the only creature out, so he bolsters himself, but he's tapped, and he doesn't fly. So then we pass to the Daleks, untap, upkeep, draw. We can't. Oh my god, we have an awesome board wipe and we can't do it. We're 1 mana shy. So if we do a black instead, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, making XX is 2. So basically 4 into X, which means we can do it twice. We're going to play Doomsday Confluence. Choose X. You may choose the same mode more than once. So we choose these things X times, which is 2. Yeah, it's making them sacrifice isn't really that big a deal. We'll just go ahead and make 2 Daleks with Menace. Again, they're not flying, so it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to get some... And making them sacrifice 2 creatures would be... Yeah, it's not going to matter. I'm going to go ahead and tap this, take a damage, to tap the campfire to gain 2, to net 1, and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, take a damage, make another that kind of fairy. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. So this costs 4 less. All I gotta do is tap an island for Thoughtcast, draw 2 cards. Sure, draw 2 lands. I mean, it's not super important, I guess, but we'll play a swamp. Since we really don't need to worry about attackers at us, we're going to tap 3 and play the Misleading Signpost. It's an artifact with flash, and when it enters the battlefield during the declare attacker step, you may reselect the player or permanent target attacking creature is attacking. So it's a cool way to like take somebody's big giant creature and redirect it somewhere else. But we don't need it, so it's an artifact. It's going to make another blue fairy guy. And it comes in with the counters, so it wouldn't be the same anyway. And this just taps for a blue, which is nice. The colors don't matter right now. That we do have cards in the deck that say like, oh, blue creatures get +1/+1 or whatever. So that's why keeping the blue and black fairies separate is kind of important. But so these 2 fairies, blue and a black, just came in this turn. The rest are good to go, right? I may have lost one in all of that nonsense, but we'll see. But these are definitely 5s, 5 4s. So it's 1, 2, 3. So that's 15 damage right there. And then this is 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we send these 3 creatures, we move to combat, these 3, or these 4 at the Dalek Emperor, that's exactly 19 damage in the air, and swing these 2 at you. Kaboosh, the Dalek Emperor is donezo. You're going to take 2 commander, we're going to gain 2, and then you're also going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, so 8 more damage. Alright, down to 19, which we know these 3 can take out. I'm going to go ahead and tap blue, blue, and then Dryden Dynamo with 1 floating to play Sower of Temptation. When Sower of Temptation enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature for as long as Sower of Temptation remains in the battlefield. Well, you know what? We would just take Optimus Prime. And at that point, we're going to just basically concede, because Optimus Prime player would be super pissed off right now. We got nothing that's going to do nothing. Guess that's not entirely true. We also forgot to... So I guess what we would do at this point, okay, you steal it, cool. I'm going to go ahead and tap and path to exile that creature you just played. You get to go get a basic land tapped on the battlefield. We get Optimus back. I'm not entirely sure if he keeps the counters, though, when he gets taken. I think he should. Because, like, if you stole the creature, it would take all the equipments and enchantments and everything with it. It's just exiled. Well, but then if it leaves the battlefield, I think it loses counters. So, I don't know. We'll go ahead and say he lost it. Sorry, I'm actually getting upset because Optimus Prime is one of my favorite characters in fiction, and it just bums me out that I can't get this deck to be more powerful and be the way it should be. I don't want to turn him into Kemba, where it's just a Voltron equipment deck where I just load him up with equipments and enchantments and swing for commander damage, because I already have like literally 3 or 4 commander damage decks. I don't want another one, and I wanted Optimus Prime to lead his army of Autobots into battle, but I don't know, I might have to try and tweak it and change it a little bit in that direction. It's upsetting. Or I'll have to do some research and see what other people are doing and see if clearly it also needs more draw spells, because that could help out a lot too. But yeah, at this point we basically concede because there's nothing we can do. And there you have it. The 100th episode of the Unskilled Commander, Alayla, Artful Provocateur of all decks, is your ultimate winner. I think Alayla wanted to show off a little bit because I don't use her very often, and because she was one of my first token decks, and I gone on to like Rin and Siri and soldiers and things like that, where I'm like, I don't almost never play a Layla because it didn't really do much. Well, she does stuff now. She was like, shut up, Brian. I'll show you what I can do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the road to 100. I hope you enjoy the channel. You subscribe, you throw some likes around, hit the bell, all that nonsense. I hope you saw some really cool cards that you want to put in your decks. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.